This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, boasting a beautiful pre-New Year's background from Toronto. Because I love Toronto, made a couple trips there this year, and plan to visit there next year. But folks, here we are on December the 30th, 2025, and we are celebrating the 45th anniversary of Caddyshack. I didn't see it in 1980 when it came out, but I would have been 8 years old that year. And amazingly, my guest is 39.
Thank you.
Folks, she is the one that will tell you. I mean, you got people that will tell you things, tell you this. During the pandemic, people told you to put a mask on. This person will tell you to shave your ass. Yeah, forget the mask, forget all that. Shave your ass. Folks, I recommended highly by Tommy Kovac, host of Splat from the Past, and I'm so happy to have her on here. Folks, I give you Minerva Scelza. Did I pronounce that right?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. You played Joey
Yes,
in
I played
Caddy.
Joey Denunzio. That's right.
There you go. You're actually my fourth guest from that show. So yeah, it's been pretty cool having some interviews from that.
Mhm.
But yeah, 45 years. What do you think of that?
Gosh, at this point, I'm just super proud that you know, that the film could bring that much joy to people and kind of stay with people. I know folks that have shared it with their children, and then their grandchildren. So uh
Oh,
yeah, exactly. It's weird. But I think in the beginning, when I was really young, I was 12 when I did the film, and I saw it in Miami, actually, where I grew up. And the film was filmed in Florida, and I didn't get most of the jokes, But then as I got older, I watched it again. I was like, oh wow, that is really funny. And so I'm not surprised. I'm thrilled. I'm proud, and anything that can bring joy and laughter is just a good thing.
no, it's funny. I remember when I first saw Caddyshack, I'm obviously a rental for me because I didn't see it at 8 years old at the theater. But um, when I first saw it, I did not like it. And
Mhm.
it's one of those films, sometimes you don't like something and then you revisit it and you're like, okay, you see it through a different light.
Mhm.
And I remember, I don't know, maybe I found it boring or whatnot. And what had happened was I kind of got thinking, well, I'm a big fan of Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Murray. I like all those. Why didn't I like Caddyshack?
Mhm.
So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go back and revisit that. And
Mhm.
it one of those interesting moments when I saw it the second time. It's like, okay, it brought the experience to me the second time that I now have with it now.
Mhm.
Because it's like I like the realism that Harold Ramis gives to it, especially during the opening scene when they're at the house, and
Mhm.
you're kind of traveling with Michael O'Keefe as he's going by all the houses on his bike and he goes to the Bushwood Country Club. And I every time I watch it now, it's kind of like I feel like I'm just stepping out and just hanging out with these people.
Mhm.
And it gave me a fresh perspective to the
Mhm.
point now where I have that thing on Blu-ray here. I love Caddyshack. And like I said, when somebody asked me, was there a film that you didn't like first time seeing it, but you come around on? Well, Caddyshack was that film, and I've seen it numerous times.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like film. It's like I'm hanging out, whether I'm at the pool and boating area, whether I'm on the golf course, whether I'm at the house, whether I'm observing what Bill's doing on the greens, any of that stuff. And it's like, it just feels like maybe it's because the characters, even despite the humorous hijinks, are relatable. You've seen them.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I like that. So Caddyshack is a film that I'm so glad I've came around on. So yeah, I wish I had a Caddyshack shirt. I don't. So in honor of the late Doug Kenny, I'm wearing National Lampoon's Animal House.
Oh, awesome.
Of course, he played Stork in Animal House, and I I wish he could have seen what
Mm.
Caddyshack turned into because I know he was disappointed. I wish he got to see what it eventually would become, you know? You have memories of Doug?
I actually do. Right after I was cast, I auditioned. I think Doug was in the room and Harold, of course. And what they went to work doing in the sweetest, funnest way, because they were so great to be around, was they wanted me to be just like uh just like that rough kid, that obnoxious child that that kicks people in the shins and uses curse words all the time, um and I was a little tomboy for sure, but I wasn't a rude child. So we would play tennis sometimes right there because we were filming um on a golf course with a different name. And we would play tennis every once in a while, and they would just kind of shout things at me like to be meaner, be nastier, say something, but they were laughing as they were doing it. And then I was trying to like say, rude things, and they just were a lot of fun, especially together. And so I have really great memories of Doug Kenny, just being sweet, encouraging, just really a lot of fun to be around. So it was, yeah.
Yeah. Before I we dive more into the details of Caddyshack, I'd like
Mhm.
to get a little bit of your background and what led you to get into the business.
Sure, sure. Well, I was 12 at that
Mhm.
time that I was cast. And I did love acting. So even at 12, I had my visions of what I'd be doing. And some of my favorite stars were people like Tatum O'Neal and Jodie Foster. So I like the tomboy. I like that character a lot.
Good
And
choices.
yeah, like and
Yeah.
because I had seen I think at a young age my grandmother loved film, so she would take me to some films that maybe I wasn't supposed to go to, but like Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and other films. And so I loved really good acting, and I loved these tomboy characters, that they weren't like the usual frilly, kind of light touch type of characters. And so that was in my mind anyway. And then this film came to town, and at that point, the film industry in Florida was kind of really flourishing, or getting to the point, was it going to flourish even more? So, um, uh, um, what's his name? Burt Reynolds and who's the comedian? Not John Belushi. Who's the other guy? Burt Reynolds and Smokey and the Bandit. I just forgot that other actor.
Oh, Jerry Reed or
Jerry
Jackie
Reed.
Gleason.
No, the other guy. He's kind of like a big guy.
Oh, Don DeLuise.
Dom DeLuise, yeah.
You're thinking
So
of
they
Smoking the Bandit too.
Smoking
Yeah.
the Bandit. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So they were doing a lot of those things, and the industry was just kind of thriving. And Jupiter, Florida, they were doing a lot of things there. And my grandfather had gotten involved, and he was a person who raised me. And my grandmother raised me. And he got involved in the film industry. He was a Teamster. And he took care of like the transportation part of things, the rentals that they would use for different things. And so this movie was coming to town, Caddyshack, and they hadn't cast this one particular role yet for Joey, which was not supposed to be a tomboy. It was supposed to be a boy. And he said, "Well, why don't you audition my granddaughter? She's a tomboy." And and they did. They didn't cast in California, so they came out to Florida, and they auditioned me, and I got the role. And so that's how that happened. So there was a desire to act. This thing kind of sort of fell in my lap a little bit, and I had never done any. film before. That was my first job at all. And so that was kind of a cool way. And then I got to be around my grandfather, which was one of the best parts of this experience for me was that it was this a lot of time I got to spend with him, and I really just adored him.
I commented on your name when we first opened, and anytime I meet somebody that's got a name I'm not familiar with, it goes for your first and last. I was wondering where that originates.
Well, thank you. Well,
Yeah.
Minerva is my mother and father chose that, but it originates from mythology. It's the Roman equivalent of Athena. So it
Oh,
is
I
the
like that. Yeah, and Clash of the Titans. What's it? She the one with the owl?
yes.
Wow, I love that
Yeah.
movie too. Yeah. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with that.
Yeah, so that's what that
Okay.
she chose that they chose that and and I have never had a problem with it. I've always kind of embraced it. No nicknames, nothing, just Minerva. And my
Mhm.
grandfather's name Scelza is Italian, and so his family is from a place called Salvatore in
Okay.
Italy, and so those are the names.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Especially the ties into Greek mythology. That is really cool.
Hmm.
Yep. No, I have a little bit of Caddyshack memorabilia.
Oh, what do you have?
I got this.
Oh, very cool. I don't have one of those. I should get one.
Well, one of the guests that I'm going to bring up that I've had on here, he had one of these. But yeah, I got a Mr. Gopher.
Very cute. Oh, he's cute.
Yeah, he hangs out with my cat.
I
And
kept during the filming, oh my God, I'm gonna forget his name. I should have it at the top of my head. But he was basically the one who did a lot of the set decoration, and he was the one who he made that gopher.
oh
And
wow.
I think I probably asked him for it so many times on the set. I was like, can I keep it? I think it's just very nice. And it's like, oh, sure, maybe. But
Do you have it?
I do not have it. No, no.
Oh,
I do have, I should have brought it here. It's only like a couple, I can step out and get it. But I've got the plaque from Bushwood Country Club, the one that they created and they had up in the
oh, if
room.
you want to get it and showcase it on here, go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're going to see the Bushwood Country Club plaque. Wow, this should be very, very interesting. Yeah, Caddyshack celebrating 45 years, folks. Love this film. I'm glad it's a film I revisited because all these years, oh wow. Look at that. I like that. That's from the film, huh?
Yeah, that's right off the wall. I think it was
Wow.
in the shot mostly with Ted Knight when they're in like the gift shop. I think
Mm-hmm.
you see it there, maybe other places too. I don't know, but yeah. It
Oh
was
wow,
actually
I love
called
that.
It was actually called Rolling Hills. Yeah, Rolling Hills Golf Club or something. Yeah.
Yeah, now my last guess I had on from the film, I did not get to show these, and I totally forgot about it, but I'm going to show these to you.
Mm-mm.
Couple of Christmas ornaments.
Oh my gosh. How cool.
That is the groundhog done, or the gopher done up like Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yep, doing that little walk. And I also have this one.
Oh, look at that.
And he's
I
even
like
got
the,
that golf bag, that trick
I
golf
recognize
bag.
that golf bag.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of ornaments here, from I don't put a tree up, but nonetheless, I do have those ornaments. I saw those and I was like, I gotta grab those, So I got a few movie related ones, and I saw those. I gotta grab those. Yeah, but yeah, and I gotta share these because we unfortunately lost somebody way too young. And I had her on my show back in 2015, and I was hoping I'd get her on again, but we lost her way too soon. But
Oh, oh yeah.
Cindy Morgan,
Yeah.
so many of us folks crushed on her in that film.
She's
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, and I got these way off her sight, but oops. Oh, gee, is it going to?
She's in Toronto.
She's, oh, there we are.
Oh, that's a great shot. I love that shot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I got that one. And I remember she was late getting it out to me, and she sent me a private message saying that my apologies, but I'll take care of the postage for it, but
Mhm.
which she didn't have to do, but and of course I got the shot of her.
Oh, that's great too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So I got some nice shots of her from this film. So
Hmm.
yeah, what she signed, and I'm glad I got those. And I felt so bad when she
Yeah.
passed.
Hmm.
So I was connected with her online. I didn't talk to her a whole lot, mind you, but I'd always see her updates. But no, I really liked Cindy Morgan in this film. So
Hmm.
and she also went on to do Tron. But anyway, yeah, Caddyshack, glorious film. I love revisiting from the opening scene where that water sprayer thing goes off, right to up to the end where, everybody get laid. You know, I love this film. Talk about your experiences filming this. I could think of two, of course, major scenes for you because, of course, you get the famous scene there at the pool. And of course, it's funny because I almost wanted to put the shot up here where you got three of you sitting by the pool. And I'm going to
Hmm.
tell you, I've had Cindy Morgan on here. I had Peter Bergera on here back in July, I believe.
Hmm.
He had one of those Mr. Gophers. So I had him on here.
Nice.
And a year or two ago, I had Ann Ryerson on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was also in Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives as a paintball victim. She was involved in a triple decapitation scene.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, but she was wonderful. I got an autograph of her here too. I didn't think to dig that out, but I got one of her pointing the paintball gun in Jason Lives. But
Mhm.
of course, you guys are all sitting by the pool, and
Uh-huh.
Peter, being annoying, wants a piece of that bar. And she goes, and you just take that chocolate bar and you cause some chaos with that chocolate bar. You throw it in the pool. Poor Anne goes, oh, thanks a lot. And that thing, it's a whole Jaws reference. Talk about the atmosphere in the pool scene.
Oh wow, that was like super fun chaos, but watching Harold Ramis rehearse the water ballet sequence because I was there for all of it. And I just enjoyed it. I just loved watching all of that behind the scenes happen. So that was crazy and fun and chaotic. Um, and just all the people that were there, the kids that were there, I of course I had no idea what was going on. Then suddenly, I don't know if they had me in that moment with the topless scene. I think they probably had ushered me out or something, but I knew that there were crazy things going on. And with the jumping off the diving board, what was kind of fun about that right before I said you shave your ass, um, was that when you're filming, everything's about the light, especially when you're outside. It's always the quality of the light. You got to match up the quality of the light. And I have big hair. It's not as big right now, but it's basically the same hair. And this for me, this was my big moment in my head. Not anybody else's head, but like they're gonna know I'm a girl. Like I was so excited. So I take my hat off and this crazy hair. But to jump off the diving board, we had to. I think we didn't I didn't actually jump in the water because they knew it was going to take a lot to dry my hair again and make it look like I'd just taken off my hat. And so I misunderstood and I thought we were doing an actual take and not a rehearsal. So I jumped in the water and then I came out and they were like freaked out because they weren't rolling, and it was just a test, and they had like minutes before we were going to lose the sunlight to get my hair big again. And so I have this picture, which I don't have now, I can send it to you, but of like two hairstylist women just with the blow dryers on either side of me, and it was painful because they were like like trying to get it all dry. And but they did, and then they filmed the take after that, but it was a moment.
Wow. Yeah, that lifeguard, he could not contain things and you just weren't having it, Were you involved in the ballet scene in the pool?
I wasn't in that, no.
No. No,
No.
okay. That was an odd thing to place in the middle of that, but I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's really cool. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. But anyway, I and of course, the chocolate bar scene, it's kind of like what a waste of good chocolate.
Well, Bill Murray didn't waste it, so that's
Oh yeah, that shit-eating grin on his face. No worries.
yeah.
He takes a he takes a bite out of it. Mrs. Smales faints. I love that. But yeah, you're seen throughout the film. You always have that ball cap on your head, and and I was confused the first few times I thought it was a boy, but until of course, when you took your hat off in the pool scene, I guess that's a little bit of a different story. So, was there any scenes in the movie that were difficult to shoot, or were you just with the moment?
Um, I think the pool scene, just because there was a lot of pressure around the sun and all that, but it was still fun. Somehow Harold Ramis and the whole crew still made it fun. I know, they as a person who's now I've produced a couple of things here and there, and I've worked with children on film sets, and it's so critically important to make sure that they're having a good experience, that no matter how stressed out you are, or how much money you're losing, or how much whatever's going on, that you're making sure that they're okay, So I was always in a space that I felt like a lot of fun was happening. I really got to spend a lot of time with, they became my buddies on set. Was uh Bill Murray's brother, Brian Doyle Murray,
Hmm.
and um and the person who played the Irish girlfriend, um
Oh, Sarah Holcomb?
Sarah Holcomb, yeah. So they were a couple during the filming of Caddyshack. They were with each other, and they were both a lot of fun. So I loved the golf cart, so I would create these golf cart treks and adventures in the golf cart, and they would as well. Or sometimes they come with me, and then we do. So I just had like buddies like on the set. Harold Ramis's daughter every once in a while was on the set, Violet Ramis, and she was very young. I think she was about 3 or 4. And I wasn't babysitting her, but she might be really close by to her dad, and I'd be sitting with her and entertaining her a little bit. But it was just a great atmosphere, and so that was pervasive, and I think that's a really good point to make. Like I felt like I was around a lot of fun, insta relatives or something, and the other couple of scenes that I really liked a lot. One was at the uh of course, carrying the bag, which was kind of impromptu because they had just said, "We'll pick up the bag," and the bag was heavy.
I forgot about that. You can't
Yeah,
pick it up. You're
yeah,
struggling with that in the
yeah.
background.
So I'm supposed to be the caddy for Rodney Dangerfield and carry this ridiculous bag that did have a lot of things in it, and it was really heavy. And they said, "We'll just pick it up," and that was it. And then I just sort of picked it up and I spun around because I couldn't hang on to it. And then they all applauded after that. So it was kind of impromptu, and it worked out nicely. Um, and then in the rest of the scenes, oh, during the fight scene in Caddyshack, when Brian Doyle Murray says, "You pick up your blood," or "We'll pick up that blood," or that kind of thing. I had a bigger scene. There were some scenes that I did have that got cut, which always exist, but where I think there was the fight that I was supposed to somehow be involved in, and then they kind of cut it out and gave it to Peter Burkrot because it was a little unsafe for me to like jump on someone's back from like the roof. But I was so excited. I was like, I get to jump on it. I was so ready to like, I'm going to be in the brawl. Um, but and then I had some other curse words. Like I got to use the word dingleberry, which of course I had to look up. I was walking around the set going, "What's a dingleberry? What's a dingleberry?" But that scene ended up getting cut, and a lot of people in it. I did get to watch the scene that Bill Murray did with who's the caddy that with the pitchfork? Peter
Oh,
Burkrot. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And because originally it was another guy, they had another local guy do that scene who just was an actor from Florida. But I don't know if he was having like a moment or if it was a drug thing or just he was ill, but whatever it was, he was kind of out of it. So it wasn't working. The scene wasn't working. And so they put Bill Murray in on that, and that was great. But just like watching all that being filmed that was part of the coolest thing for me. It was just I just never left the set. I would get there in the morning, even if I wasn't my scene, and I was just constantly like watching these people. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks like it was a lot of fun. I would love to I would love to see an uncut version of
Mm,
Caddyshack, like fully restored. And people
mm.
say, well, that'd be like 3 hours long. And I'm like, look, if people can sit through something as boring as Titanic for 3 hours, then let's sit through Caddyshack for 3 hours. I'm all for that.
Uh-huh. The
You know?
crazy thing is when I was on set and all that, I was sitting with the editor a lot. So off hours or whatever, I'd be there, and this was when it was celluloid. So it's film and they're taping the film together, not like they do now with video and stuff. And this person would let me they were showing me how to use the moviola and how to cut
Mhm.
and splice and all that. And so I had cut and spliced together a bunch of outtakes of the film that was a reel that I just kept. And I would show it to myself. And I wasn't, was not expert in, but I had this thing and it was so cool. And I would have had, except for later on, and a couple of years later after Caddyshack, there was a house fire. No one got hurt in my house, but I lost a lot of stuff, including that reel. But if I had that reel, yeah.
That's unfortunate. Because I know before she passed, Cindy Morgan was even working on a book.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I wish she got to finish that. I was glad I had her on when I did.
I'm so
You
glad you
know,
did. Hmm.
yeah, because she was a delight.
Hmm.
But no, I know she was trying to do a book, and I think she said like her third grade teacher or something like that. That was I'm like, really? You're still talking to your third grade teacher or whatever it was, but
Huh.
nevertheless. But yeah, there's a lot of like the behind the scenes documentary on this Blu-ray. It's just crazy, especially with the amount of uh I I don't imagine you were around it, but a lot of the drugs that were being done on
No,
this
no, they
and there
they
was a
shielded me from that. I didn't see a lot of that. But yeah, there was craziness. But I will share this story about Bill Murray. Because whatever was going on, again, these everyone was really cool around the kids, but there were kids on the set that were not part of the film, but either relatives or maybe related to some of the folks that were part of the Rolling Hills Golf Club.
Mhm.
So they were kind of like, a little bit of a gaggle running around. I probably was one of the younger ones or the youngest one, but we found ourselves because they had rooms. They actually had rooms in that space where the actors were staying on set, which is much more convenient, I think, for the directors. But Bill Murray was in his room. We found out where that room was, and we were writing notes on a piece of paper and sliding it under his door. And then he would write something silly back and slide it back to us, and we were like doing this for a little while. I mean, it was at least I don't know, a half an hour or something. But and I I think about that now. Like he was probably wanting a private moment or just like but he was fun and he engaged and but the drug shenanigans I had no idea about. I mean, I was around Ronnie Dangerfield, who was always just seemed very nervous. Like he didn't talk a lot. Ted Knight was kind of fun, a little more relaxed. And Bill Murray was fun and all that. Chevy Chase, I saw a little bit, but not often. I think he kind of came in and came out again. But the set and the place where people were staying was all the same thing, so you're just around people all the time. But so I didn't actually see any debauchery.
I bet you were there during the big storms that were happening there.
Yeah, we were around, and so it was crazy. But Florida always has crazy weather. But yeah, and they covered up because they wanted it to look like, which I didn't understand when I was at the time. But that opening scene, seeing his house and riding the bike down that street,
Hmm.
they wanted to be kind of like Chicago, like sort of old money Chicago, so that people like Lois Kibbe and Ted Knight could exist in that sort of thing, in that sort of environment. So they had to cover up all the palm trees that were in the scenes, So during the storms and all that, or whatever, they had to get way up there and cover up these palm trees.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't CGI. They literally
Nope.
had cover and they would put it on top of the palm tree.
Yeah, we don't want to CGI Mr. Gopher, Mr.
No,
Too bad you didn't get to adopt that gopher.
I know. I know. He was cute.
Yeah. But yeah, I heard, for example, you say you didn't see much of Chevy Chase on there. I've always loved Chevy Chase, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um anyway, be the ball.
Hmm.
Rodney Dangerfield, I've always been a big fan of, and it's funny because I'm even talking to Peter. I heard the same thing that Rodney was so used to stand up that
Hmm.
when he's on set and doing this movie, he's so used to people laughing. And of
Hmm.
course, you hear a lot of his own act in the improv, like uh, the steak still has marks where the jockey whipped it, is one of his lines.
Hmm.
And Rodney, he made it look very realistic. I especially love that opening scene, like Mr. Wang, what's with the pictures? It's a parking lot. He goes in there and immediately ticks off Ted Knight's character, this is the worst looking hat you ever seen. But you wear a hat like this, you get a free bowl of soup.
Hmm.
It looks good on you though.
Yeah, we still use that line around this house, my daughter and I, and my husband as well. So like, yeah, some lines just come to me pretty naturally, and that's one of them.
Yeah. So Rodney was pretty nervous, and did you have any like moments with him?
No, just on set, just around set. He's always sweet, but just seemed kind of nervous.
Hmm.
And only later when I was listening to other people recount their experiences and Harold Ramis, and that was also another tragic loss. I was really sad to
Yeah.
when he passed, but um was how that Rodney Dangerfield needed a fair amount of reassurance because like you said, he wasn't hearing the people laughing. But he did such a great job. Yeah, he's yeah.
That golf bag, any memories of that, or was it something that was just designed for the film? And because there was a lot of gadgets on that, of course,
Mhm,
in the
mhm.
scenes.
In the scenes, yeah. So that was definitely designed. I think was it Bob Distolfi? That name just came to me. He may have been the person doing those types of things, but yeah, it was big. I mean, golf bags, I guess, are kind of big, but I don't think they're that big. And so this was very like wide because they had to have all these gadgets. Like when there's a scene when Rodney Dangerfield asks, "Can I have my driver?" Or I said, or do I say, do you want your driver? I forget what it is, but uh, and then he says something else, and then there's a button that gets pressed, and then the driver shoots out of it. So they had to have all these mechanics in there, and so it was super big and super heavy. And at one point, he rips off, and there's a television there, and like we're watching TV, and then we start dancing. And that was kind of a fun scene because I was petrified to dance because I was 13. I mean, at 12, so I was kind of awkward and they were like, just dance. And I was like, I don't want to dance. And then I forget who it was, one of the other actors. just sort of grabbed my hand and we started doing like this kind of wacky little thing. In the distance, you barely even saw it. But the bag itself was pretty massive.
Are you kidding me? Rodney looked weird dancing.
Yeah.
I think you were fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I heard that Bill Murray had improvised so many of his scenes. Of course, he's been known to do that, you know.
Hmm.
Like I remember the Fairley brothers on the commentary track for Kingpin. They would say that he just throw pages of the script away and just do his own thing, and it
Yeah.
would always be better than what they wanted, you know.
Uh,
So yeah, I know there was this is something I love that Harold Ramis was able to do because I know there was a confrontation between Chevy Chase and Bill Murray at Saturday Night Live,
mhm.
and I love the fact that Harold Ramis was able to get that scene with them with the liquor bottle and the Bill with his gopher set up to kill the gopher and all this. And I heard that was very improvised as well. But you got the scene between these two comedians, very respectful. And I love the fact that Harold was able to make that happen, you
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
because it's one of those quote scenes in the movie, and both of them shined in it, you know. So I like that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We lost Harold Ramis way
Yeah.
too soon. Um, what were your memories of Harold? I know you had a good time with him.
Yeah, I definitely did. And then spending time with his daughter when she was on set. And he was just he created that atmosphere, and he enjoyed it, So like I think also he was a person that you wanted him to like what you did. You wanted him to laugh, you wanted him to so it was perfect. And yeah, he was just a good guy and very patient. I mean, there were a couple of scenes that I know I had to do a couple different times. But he was really good. And later on, I had reached out to him once or twice. That was about it, really, because I ended up going to theater. I went to university and studied theater after that, and I reached out to him at one point, and he was just very nice. I forget what he was doing. He was doing some film, and then later on, I reached out to his daughter, or she and I got connected. I think she lives in the city in Manhattan, and I think it was before he passed. Yeah. But yeah, he was just a good guy.
Yeah. Now, Ted Knight, one of the things I heard about him
Hmm.
is that he was very old school, you know, coming from Mary Tyler Moore show and
Hmm. Hmm.
whatnot. You can even see a brief cameo of him in Psycho as the guard that lets you didn't know he was in Psycho?
No.
You know when Norman Bates is being brought the blanket at the end
Yeah.
before his end scene monologue? Ted Knight is the guard that opens the door to,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. Oh, cool.
yeah, yeah. So he already knew crazy before he got to Blackwood. But Ted Knight, of course, with that well kept gray hair, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But I heard and Cindy Morgan even went into this, you know, but so did Peter, but especially Cindy about Ted Knight. He would always have his lines ready and everything prepared, everything memorized, everything, you know, because he was used to going by a script. And then he
Hmm.
gets on set, and I guess it was frustrating with him working with Rodney Dangerfield, who would always improvise and whatnot. And Cindy said it drove him up the wall. Do you have any stories regarding that?
No, no, I didn't get to see any of that. I didn't feel any of that frustration. No, no.
No. What were your memories of Ted Knight?
Ted Knight was very kind of old school, very
Hmm.
polite, um, very nice to all of the people on the whatever scene was happening.
Hmm.
Said hello to everyone and all that. He's just a lot of fun. The scene when we're following him around with his nephew, whoever that is, he was like, I want this, I want this, I want that. He's like, you'll have
Oh,
nothing. I like it.
Spalding, you'll get nothing
Balding.
and like it.
Look at nothing and like it. So we're like following them around. We're betting on everything, betting if he picks his new nose, bet if he picks this, if he does that. And so that scene was a lot of fun, you know. So it was that took I forget how long to actually make that scene happen because it looks like a couple of minutes in the movie, but you know, you're probably talking at least a day, if not longer, to capture all the angles. But he was, yeah, he was funny and fun to be around also. Yeah.
It's funny because I think the first time I really got really seen Ted Knight was in this movie, and of course he's playing Judge Smales, this just very strict, um, uptight guy. And then you see him in the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which I seen much later. That's not a show I grew up watching, but
Hmm.
I got to see it later. And seeing him play the buffoon type, I'm like, wow, he had some comedic range. I love that,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know?
Super
Yeah.
talented. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I know the Murrays were there. Bill Murray, and of course, Brian Doyle Murray was playing the groundskeeper. But you also had, of course, I know John Murray was on set there, flying around on the golf carts. So
Hmm.
yeah, you had the Murrays. You had the Murrays there.
Hmm.
Um, I know there's. Let's talk about the caddies. Like Michael O'Keefe went on to have quite the career afterwards. Of course, I'm always going to remember him as Danny Newman, you know. And of course, he had that hair, of course, which he later cut. But him and Scott Columbia, did I say his last name right?
Yes, Scott Columbia. Yeah.
Okay, he was the cool one, And one story that Cindy Morgan shared with me about Scott. Cindy was sent the script for
Hmm.
Porky's,
Hmm.
and she wasn't going to do it.
Hmm.
But I guess Scott got hold of that script. That was how Scott got into Porky's.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow. Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, that was filmed. One of them was filmed in Florida. I remember that because I did not go to. My grandfather was working on that one as well. I think it was Porky's 2, maybe.
Mhm.
I don't know, but yeah, that's interesting. So that's how he got involved.
Yeah. Cindy Morgan was adamant she wasn't going to do that film, but I guess it worked out for Scott. Yeah, any stories working with Michael and Scott?
No, I mean, I definitely had a crush on Scott. That was something that I didn't, which
Yeah,
I
but he
didn't
played your
kind of
brother.
realize. What?
He played your brother, though.
I know. All acting. But no, and because he ended up with I think long time with Valerie Bertinelli, right? And so that was a show I grew up with, which was
Hmm.
One Day at a Time, right? So that
Yep. Oh, I love that show. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So I had a little crush on him. But no, and Peter Burkrot was fun. Anne Ryerson was great. She and I often shared like what do they call honey wagon. You know, we have like your little room, your little dressing room, and she would always give me like these tips of like things to make sure your teeth stay, clean or white or whatever, or like keep the blood like in your face so that I mean, she wasn't telling me to do it. She was just doing it herself, but I was like watching her. So she would like stand on her head sometimes before scenes, just to kind of get her blood flowing and all that. So
Hmm.
she would do something like that. She also loved reading and introduced me to one of my first and then became favorite book, which is Island of the Blue Dolphin. So gave me that book. So there was like a book club. These are things that I remember. No drugs,
I,
book
I
clubs.
bet I bet she never gave you a Baby Ruth bar though.
She did not. No.
I love
Not to throw it.
I love Scott's accent in the film though. Well, I'm not paying no 50 cents for no Coke. I'm like,
Yeah.
jeepers, I wish Coke were 50 cents now.
Yeah.
Really
You ain't
fast?
getting no Coke.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved watching the banter between them because it's almost like Harold just set that camera up and just watch these people. That's how realistic the characters come across, and I
Hmm.
love that. And um, I wanted to ask about Sarah Holcomb, and
Hmm.
I don't want to get into gossip because I know that she had issues later in life, and I loved her in Animal House. I'll always remember her in the shopping cart, the dean's daughter.
Hmm.
And then she shows up in this with her hair all cropped, very attractive, but I feel bad where things went for her. I don't understand
Hmm.
that. But what was your memories of her on the set of this film?
Oh gosh, I spent a lot of time with her. She's just super kind and funny and silly and kind of available, So if there was her going on, I would just like run up to her and be like, "Hey, I want to take on my new golf cart, journey or something," and just laughter, a lot of fun. And she and Brian Dolmurray, like I said, were a couple, so they were together a lot. But she was great. I just had a lot of fun with her and felt like she was like a big kid. And so, yeah, I don't know any of the rumors or whatever, but I personally would love to see her again one day just because of
Yeah,
the good memories that I have. But yeah.
I heard that she had schizophrenia. Of course, I've heard that about a few actors, but I
Hmm.
hope she's doing okay. I let's say I don't know how Brian Doyle Murray got hooked up with her, but I'm 53 and I haven't been able to hook up with anybody, so I don't know what he's doing, but because he looked old in that film. Oh, I don't know, but hey, all power to him. I'm not going to judge. She was attractive. She was attractive and legal, so hey, there you go. You know, yeah. And what you say? How did you pronounce Lois? Was it Keeble?
I think Kibby.
Kibby.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was another one I heard was in the Ted Knight camp of always memorizing. So this was all kind of new for both of them, apparently.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you didn't get to go to the dinner scene, I guess that was past your bedtime.
Yeah, the dinner scene they filmed yeah, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I was on the set most of the time, even for scenes that weren't mine. Like even when they were filming the bedroom scene with Chevy Chase and Cindy Morgan, I was not on that set, but I was outside, when they were because they used like one of the little rooms that and they created a bedroom out of it. But yeah, I remember that scene being filmed and everyone laughing and and stuff like that. But yeah.
The scene where they're at the piano apparently was the camera was going and Cindy did not know it. And there was Chevy Chase was doing his thing and Cindy said to me, she said, if you notice Joe, just very, very briefly, I noticed the camera, but and I go with it
Mhm.
because she didn't
Oh.
know that Harold was filming that, you
Oh,
know,
okay. Yeah.
and she just went with it, and it's like it's just this magic moment,
Hmm.
between the two. Were you there when they blew up the golf course?
Yeah, I was. That was intense. That was like really intense because they and that whole group scene because that's when the putting happens, and I'm saying like Noonan, well, we all are, but doing that and then these explosions happen. It was yeah, it was crazy. And they did it differently then, So I think you'd probably heard from other people as well that there were all these questions and, the authorities were worried about what the heck was going on there. All this flame was shooting up and these big giant sounds. And at that point, that was filmed in Davie, Florida. So Davie, Florida at that point wasn't that developed of a community. There were still farms and people living there, but much kind of spread out. But that caused a lot of commotion. Oh, the other thing I
Mhm.
remember that we did during, which was a lot of fun, and some of the actors, definitely Michael O'Keefe went, and I think Scott Columbia, is that we all went go-kart racing at one point. Um, and that was so things like that happened. Like that, no one was
Did you
acting like a
win?
star.
Did you
Did I
win the
win?
golf? Did you win the
No, I
golf?
don't think I did. I'd like to believe I did, but I don't think I did.
Did you go to the premiere of the film?
I did, yeah. I was in Miami. Yeah. So that's when I saw it. I saw it with whoever was there for it. I think a lot of the actors at that point were probably in LA,
Hmm.
Manhattan, but the few that were, and what was really cool is that the crew, a lot of the crew, they got to see it. So I got to see it with a bunch of people that had just as much of a vested interest as anybody. And so that was kind of neat. And my family and my grandmother, who was like horrified, just like, is this?
I was going to ask you what your family thought.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather was a Teamster and and he was fine with all of it, but a couple of scenes that I wanted to do, I think he was the one who probably said no, she's not jumping off the roof and and that kind of thing. But my grandmother certainly didn't get the humor. She was thrilled and proud that I was in it, but she did not get any of that humor at all.
What does your husband and your kids think of your past in Caddyshack?
Yeah, well, he loves Caddyshack, and so we have lines that we throw back and forth, lines that I don't even know that I know, and then suddenly I'm just saying them. And my daughter, it was a proud moment because she's 28 now, but when she turned, I think it was the same age that I was in it, like 12, 13, something like that,
Hmm.
is when I first watched it with her, and and she thought it was funny, and I thought that was super cool. She was getting all the jokes, and that was that much time later, with her generation and what have you. So she really likes it a lot as well.
I'm glad to hear that. I don't want to get personal, but I was wondering how you and your husband meet. Did he know that you were part of this when he met you?
No, I don't really, I'm proud of it, but it doesn't really lead in a conversation. Um, but every once in a while, but now at this point, every once in a while, if I'm talking with someone or someone of a certain age, because they almost have to be kind of a certain age, that at least I can maybe guess that they like Caddyshack. But if people are much younger, they might know Caddyshack and love it, but I won't be able to guess that. But if there's a certain age, certain demographic, I'm like, I'll test the waters because once I was embarrassed. There was one guy I thought, of course, he's gonna love Caddyshack because he golfs and all that kind of stuff. But he was a little too upper crusty, and he was kind of the Ted Knight version, like now. And
Mhm.
so I think he was like a little offended that, that I mentioned Caddyshack, and I was like, "You're one of those people."
Glad you didn't bring up Happy Gilmore to him. He probably would have really got upset.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, I actually went to school with Adam Sandler.
Oh, did
And
you?
yeah, well, I went to NYU for theater, and I was in Strasbourg, which is the style of acting, and I was there for 4 years, and he was there for I think a couple of years. Really good, serious actor, also, and we lived in the same dorm, and so he was on the 16th floor, and I was on the second floor, third floor, whatever. But we'd have things called coffee houses, which were kind of like
Hmm.
variety shows, and in that particular dorm, there were a lot of theater and film people. So we were all a little bit crazy. And he would always perform. I did stupid things like lip syncing or whatever, but he did his own comedy. He'd play guitar, make his silly songs, all the things that he kind of brought to
Hmm.
Saturday Night Live and all that. He would do during these coffee houses, and he was funny, really, really funny. And then separately he was in my acting class, which was very small. So there could have been like 5 people, 6 people in that. So you get to see them, do their scenes and whatever, evolve as actors. And he was a really talented guy. But I think we talked about Caddyshack maybe once. Like it just wasn't and he was a fan and all that, but it wasn't like a thing that would come up a lot even then. And so then later on, seeing him do Happy Gilmore, I was like, wow, I guess he really was a fan of Caddyshack.
Well, in the dorm, he that would have been his Billy Madison days.
Yeah, and he was really good friends, and they stayed friends and stayed working together. Tim Herlihy.
Hmm.
Um, so he stayed on and became part of his production or writing crew or whatever. I'm not sure what he does, but it was really kind of cool to see those relationships formed that stay strong, throughout the years.
Tell me, what do you remember when your husband found out you were in Caddyshack? Because I'd like to hear what his um uh reaction would have been.
Uh, yeah, everyone was like, no, no, because they're not putting it together. And then I said, pool scene, big hair. And then I watched people's eyes. I watched his eyes kind of like light up, like because they realize who it is. And it's, kind of a big reaction.
You
Yeah.
should have. Do you ever get to do the convention scene?
I have never done that. It'd be fun. I would do it.
That's some for I know Cindy Morgan had done them. I never got to meet her, unfortunately, because I'm thinking, man, wouldn't it be cool to have your image on a t-shirt with you shave your ass across the bottom of it, and you with that just scolding look on your face, you know? Um, I could just picture that, but oh, I wish they would look more into that because I think there's people that would come out
Yeah.
to meet you. Because there's a lot of these horror, like I go to a lot of horror film conventions, and they will get right down to the nitty gritty. People that were just in like one brief scene, and they'll bring
Hmm.
them out to these, and people show up to see them. Like I
Yeah.
was just at Frightmare in the Falls, and they had six of the Jaws cast there,
Wow.
and you had people that were only in like one scene there, and people would show up because you can get a lot of the main actors, but there's a lot of people that show up and they want to get as many signatures on a poster or whatever it is that they can
Uh-huh.
get,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
even the smaller names.
Yeah, yeah.
So it really, I don't understand that. Because I know Animal House has had reunions at these and stuff like that. And I'm like, I would like to think that they could get people pulled in for something like Caddyshack. I should,
You should do it.
well, you know what? I should reach out to Chiller. I did Chiller once,
Uh-huh.
and I enjoyed it. Where I'm working like between 70 and 80 hours a week. I work as a cleaner.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
I work overnights,
Oh,
but
gosh.
I like it because I'm not dealing with as many people.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But and
Sometimes.
it's nice and quiet. But
Mm.
here's the thing. Chiller, I would like to think, especially since you're East Coast, I would like to think because they're in New Jersey, that
Mm.
maybe that would be easy
Hmm.
because that they get somewhere between like somewhere around 90 guests, between
Hmm.
75 and 90 guests. And
Wow.
I'm going to
Wow.
reach out and see if they want to bring you into that because I can't see why not.
Hmm.
And you'd probably be surprised if they put an image of you up there in your Caddyshack. I cannot see you being sitting there by yourself with nobody to see you. So you'd be
Okay. Well, yeah, sure.
you would be amazed, especially with a movie like that. So I'm going to have to bring that up to the folks at Chiller because that's a huge con. And if you ever get to do one, there's a lot of fun. You get to meet the fans and they sign the autographs and this and that.
Hmm.
So I enjoy doing them. I know Cindy Morgan has done them, um, before her passing because she was also in Tron. So
Yeah. Yeah. No,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
but I will have to bring that up because I think that there's definitely an audience for a Caddyshack reunion of sorts. So
Hey, yeah.
yeah,
That is
'cause-
great. Yeah. And
yeah,
Scott he's in LA, I think. And Peter Burkrot, I know is also East Coast, right? Isn't he?
I believe so. Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, there's another guy that I think people come out and meet. I think a
Hmm.
lot of times people don't think of these people because they're thinking all on the surface.
Hmm.
But I mean, like I said, Jaws just celebrated its anniversary, and there
Hmm.
were people brought out to that are just starting to do cons.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people, with the exception of Richard Dreyfuss right now, a lot of the main cast have passed away, so they're trying to bring in some of these people, and yeah, people
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
Show up. I live on Long Island, and Spielberg lives here. And I forget the couple, of course, every year they do Jaws, and it's a big deal out here. But I remember going to one Jaws screening where they brought the guy who they based um uh oh God, that character, that guy.
The Robert Shaw character.
Robert Shaw character, yeah. So the guy that they based that character off of, he actually came to the screening of the film. I think he's passed since, but he was a real gristly guy because Montauk is a place where they still do like shark fishing and shark tournaments and things like that, and some big sharks out there in Montauk waters.
Hmm.
And but I remember seeing him and thinking that was cool. And that was also when Roy Scheider was still alive. So he also lived out here, Roy Scheider. And so yeah, this is a Jaws town. Or I didn't know I'd moved to like a Jaws town, but yeah.
Well, you could counter that by making it a Caddyshack town. All you have to do is throw Babe Ruth bars into the water, and
Okay.
then you'd have as many Babe Ruth bars as sharks.
Ooh, okay. I like this. It's a little
Yeah.
safer that way. A little safer.
Yeah, you'd have panic, all right. They'd be
Different kind of panic. Yeah,
you'd have
exactly.
that close in on Roy Scheider. It's like it's safe. Moment. I wanted to ask you about other things that you've done. Um, I know that I'll bring you up here. Um, I know that you had other stuff that you've done. I'm
Hmm.
most familiar with Caddyshack.
Hmm.
You've
Yeah.
done a number of you see your career spans, like as far as IMDb goes after Caddyshack, the next thing you got is Hard Time on Planet Earth.
Yeah, but I didn't do that. That's a different
Mhm.
Minerva Perez. That's somebody else.
Oh,
And I've been trying to get them to remove it. I mean, I tried a couple times and I just gave up because that's a much older person. I'm not even sure
okay.
who it is. But yeah, that wasn't me. Or at least I've never seen the film. You never know as an actor, like you can do scenes and you think like you did a film and then it shows up as something else. But I know I didn't do that. And I think it was filmed. I don't even know when it was filmed. So that's a mystery for me.
Okay.
Is my
Um,
face in there? I don't think I've never seen it. I don't think I'm in that.
Actually, I've never seen it. I'm just
Yeah.
going by because that says here and that and something called High.
Yeah, that was cool. That was actually Gwyneth Paltrow's first thing, and it
Mhm.
was a CBS pilot written produced by the same guys that did uh Saint Elsewhere, and like really good writers, the Paltrow group. And so it was like a high school type of thing before 90210. So it was like, and it was a little edgy and it had some really good actors in it. And who's the guy? He's the Scottish guy who's like he has his own talk show.
Zach Braff? Oh, Craig
No,
Ferguson.
Ferguson. So Ferguson was in that. I think he played the principal or something.
Hmm.
Uh, And when I look back at it, I'm like, oh my God, that man's hysterical. He's like one of the funniest men alive. But all these people were in this pilot, and we all thought it was going to get picked up, but it didn't. CBS, I think it was too dark. The first pilot episode involved like suicide. It was just like, ugh. But it was really well written. So that's what high. But I've never gotten a hold of it. And Gwyneth Paltrow also lives out here, and I think once or twice I've gotten word to her through other people, like, please, like she's got to have a copy of this thing. I just want my daughter to see it. I think she'll get it. She'll have a blast. I think I was about 25 when I did it because everyone was older than high school, except for Gwyneth Paltrow. She actually was, I think, 17. The rest of us were in our 20s. But that was a kind of a cool thing. Yeah.
And speaking of Harold Ramis, he went on to do National Lampoon's Vacation, which
Mm.
featured Dana Barron, and she's in this film with you.
Yeah, yeah, she's in High.
Hmm.
And yeah, the other person, which I don't think she's in that one, Dana Barron was in the first one, but then another vacation featured Catherine Irby, who was
Oh
someone
yeah,
I
Catherine
went to
Irby.
school with. So she was also in the same acting class along with Adam Sandler. And then she went on to do like SVU and Law and Order, like forever. She was in that. Um, but yeah, some pretty cool interesting careers and all that. I mean, I'm spotty. I'm like a little bit here, a little bit there. I still do some acting as it comes up. If it's out here, I'm 3 hours away from Manhattan and I'm not going out and seeking it. But if there's something that's happening out here, I'll jump in. There's a film that came out to Southampton called Dark Was the Night.
Hmm.
I think it's on my IMDb. That's a great film. Like it's a kind of a thriller, kind of scary movie, but really well filmed and a lot of cool acting in it. Very moody, um, but kind of a cool film, and that came out here, and that sort of happened out of nowhere. And so I jump in when I can. I do some theater as well, but I also do other work that takes a lot of my time.
You did one called Home.
Yeah, Home, that was filmed in Brooklyn, and Matt Seitz, who I think still is a pretty cool film critic. It was in downtown Brooklyn, and he wanted to make this movie, and his wife, who's just amazing, she passed way too young, but they kind of helped produce, and he was directing, pulled it together. And the idea was that it was gonna be like a house party. He was just gonna have a couple of cameras going, and he would invite all his friends and the friends of friends, actors and all that, and he would just film these like different kind of rough scenes that he sort of expected us all to improv. And not everyone's great at improv. I'm not great at improv. I have to, it takes a lot for me to like throw out the lines or whatever. But we just he thought it was gonna be like one night, from like a 6 hour, not 10 hour nonstop night. But he really loved what he got. And then he kept calling us back. So then it was like a few months later, 6 months later, 8 months later, so people are getting fatter, thinner, big hair, little hair, and it's supposed to be all in one night, but it was pretty cool. He did a great job. Yeah.
Any stories from Law and Order?
Yeah, that was I was perpetuating the racial stereotype of the Latina, which later on I was like, oh God, like why did I do that? But I had fun. I had fun, and I got to be a kind of like a tough talking whatever, different version of Caddyshack, I guess. But it was definitely fun. Chris Noth was a bit of a flirt. I mean, I was 25, I think, at that point, or 20, 24, 25, something like that. But it was fun. It was nice to film in the city.
Now, the last thing they got you listed for is something called Soft Voice. Is that your last film critic?
Oh, Soft Voice. Yeah. I think that's the last one that's shown on IMDb. I think I did
Okay.
a couple, like one or two things after that. But that was a super independent film made by these Iranian filmmakers that were absolutely amazing. And everything was in English. They wanted to work with all kind of local actors out here on Long Island,
Hmm.
and very poetic, uh, interesting. But then I think they dub it in Farsi, or they had Farsi underneath it. And I went to some film festivals, and it won some things. It was really, beautifully done. And but that's something that came out here as well. So I just kind of got lucky that a different projects happen out here, and I'm thrilled to, you know, get involved.
I wanted to know, do you have any charities or anything like that you want to plug and promote on here?
Sure, I'll plug and promote the one that I'm the executive director for,
Oh,
which is
perfect. Go
OLA.
for it.
Yeah, yeah, it's OLA is OLA stands for Organización Latinoamericana. And so it is a Latin American immigrant focused organization, but the work that we do benefits the entire region that we're in. And this is an interesting region because it's got a lot of, a lot of it's the Hamptons, it's all the stories you see about the Hamptons. This is where I live, but it's not all plasticky and fake and, fancy cars. It's also real people that have been here for a long time. The fishing industry, the Baymen, the Bonackers, the Latinos, the artists. I mean, it's just got this wild mix of all these different people. But the work that I do, I get to focus on people who either could be recent immigrants or have been here for a while, but are still kind of either integrating or might need support in certain areas. And so that's a lot of the work that I do. So it's a great charity. We also do mental health work for adolescents. We make sure people that are, having trouble with food or we have a scholarship program. We do a bunch of different things, and it's all really positive work. So OLA of Eastern Long Island, if anyone's interested, check it out.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you for that.
Oh yeah, I never heard of that. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Have you done anything Caddyshack related this year for its 45th?
I have not, but I should. I mean, when I got your message, I was like, oh gosh, I I need to stick with it. So I haven't. Maybe we'll watch the film. Maybe I'll have a couple of friends over, or do something like that. And I did save. I keep them in a plastic bag though. The only besides this wooden plaque, I have the two of the shirts that I wore. Those, yeah, and they're still in good shape. So I just keep them in this like little plastic bag. But and I think there is some fun newer versions, kind of like designed like Caddyshack, but they're not from that. But like t-shirts are the same color and say Bushwood. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get a couple of pieces of something something and have a Caddyshack watch party or something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I enjoy this film a lot, and it's I'm glad it's one I went back and checked out
Mhm.
again because I've watched it numerous times since. And like I said, it's almost I love films where the experience is like, it's like you're hanging out with these people
Mhm.
for the time you're watching the film, and that makes it really special. And
Mhm.
no, it's funny because Rodney Dangerfield said in his book, um, before he passed away, he said that when the reviews came out for Caddyshack, the movie was just panned by critics. And he said he remembered one notable critic said the film was instantly forgettable. And he said, here we are all these years later quoting those instantly forgettable lines.
Yeah.
you know. And it came out in July of 1980, and that was a pretty packed month for films. I mean, Airplane was out that month, Dress to Kill, and
Oh, wow. I didn't
yeah,
realize that.
movies like actually Caddyshack and Dress to Kill, I think, opened at the same time, and they're two of my favorite films of that year. And so yeah, there was quite a lot of competition in there. And
Mhm.
yeah, and I love being able to go back and revisit these. And I hope one day I get to see Caddyshack in the theater. I'm still a theater goer. I'm hearing all
Mhm.
this stuff about Netflix buying Warner Brothers. And I'm like, look, I still like going to the movies at least once a week.
Oh, I
I
do too. I'm actually on the board of a movie theater out here, Sag Harbor Cinemas, and they do some art house stuff, but they also do new releases. And I think one time I jokingly said, it was like, well, you should do a Caddyshack revival. And then they were all like, oh, but maybe they'll do it.
think they should. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
show it this, show it on the screen.
Do they know you're in it?
Yeah, I think I did tell them that. So yeah, maybe one day we'll do something like that in the summer. That could be a fun summer thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What's the most unique thing you've ever been asked to sign? That's a question
Um,
I ask all my guests.
I'm not in a lot of circles where that comes up. I mean, I would love to, whatever, sign someone's cast or something, but I'm just not, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm that far, maybe I'm out here, I'm too far out east. I'm not in the city. I'm not in any kind of convention or anything like that. So Probably don't have one. Sorry.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to message the promoters for Chiller in New
Okay.
Jersey. In New Jersey, that's a nice big con. And they have, I'm going to tell you, that convention is tailor-made for everybody. I remember uh, I wasn't at this one, but I remember one of them after I went. They had Linda Blair there from The Exorcist, but they
Wow.
also had the first actor to don the Barney the dinosaur suit there. That's the range they had.
Okay, I understand now. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a Night of the Living Dead reunion there, but they
Uh-huh.
also had actors from Home Alone there.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I love that about Chiller. And
Uh-huh.
looking at pictures people posted,
Uh-huh.
all those people got attention.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, like there was the it seemed to me that like everybody was just accepted
mm.
and I think most people think Chiller, they think it's a horror film convention. It might have started out that way, but it's branched out a lot. What they do it twice a year. They do it in April and they do it in October. I
Hmm.
went in April 2024 with actress Lisa Langlois. She's a Canadian actress who
Okay.
introduced me to this scene. I went to assist her, but when I went, Sybil Shepherd was doing her first signing.
Oh, cool.
So I got to meet her and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And but yeah, they've always got a wonderful selection of guests there. So
Well,
I'm
thank
gonna
you
have
for introducing me to this the whole concept. I didn't know.
well,
So yeah.
I think they should get on that because I think there's definitely people at Caddyshack memorabilia that would enjoy meeting you, you know. So yeah, especially if you get some still images like of especially the moment where you're shouting out, "You shave your ass." That would be a great still shot or a
Yeah.
picture to sign.
Yeah.
And anything else that you can find, like you fiddling with that bag,
Yeah.
golf bag or whatnot, or headshots or and things like
Uh-huh.
that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's definitely a place for you there. So
Okay.
okay, well I'll
Well,
look into
cool.
that for you. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Special shout out to Tommy Kovac for connecting us.
Yes.
Um, he knows I like Caddyshack, so I was so happy to be connected with you, and I'm so glad that you got back to me, and we were able to do this. What a great way to end the year, chatting with
Mhm.
you.
Oh, thank you. Great to talk with you as well. And Tommy, good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to plug and promote before we close off?
No, not really. Just like, let's keep laughing. Let's keep, finding the things that just make us roll on the floor and laugh and enjoy each other. So that's it. I'm glad you're highlighting this.
What's your New Year's plans?
Well, they're gonna be fun, but kind of low key. So there's some things, some music going on, some live music, New Orleans style music is gonna be out here. So I'm excited to listen to that band, the Hoodoo Loungers. So yeah. How about you? You got plans?
Probably sleep.
Yeah, you're the overnight shift too. So you're probably
Yep, yep. And then this was perfect to do this interview right now too. So, because I'm an hour ahead of you, so this is just perfect, you know. Um, but yeah, I was so delighted to have you on. This is an honor, you know, and I thank you so much for giving me the time. Before I let you go, would you mind doing a plug for my show?
Sure, let's do it. How does it go?
Just state your name and that we're celebrating the 45th anniversary of Caddyshack, and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise. Go for it.
Okay. Uh, so my name is Minerva Scelza, and we are listening right now to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise. We are celebrating Caddyshack's 45th anniversary and having a lot of fun doing it.
45th anniversary, but She's only 39, folks. She's
Sure.
39. Thank you so much. And you have yourself a wonderful day. Have a happy new year to you.
Oh, thank you. You too. Take care.
God bless.
God bless. Bye.
Bye bye.